Hi, welcome back to Beyond the Noise with Sam, where I share my experience and then things I've seen in the United States. If you're watching us for the first time, this show is called Beyond the Noise with Sam. I share my experience. So, where I stopped last time, I was sharing about some of the things that shocked me when I got here because some things it's a different culture, it's a different environment, different way of how things are done, and then it's a learning thing for me. It's a new thing for me. I'm so happy that I'm learning a different culture. I've been here for like 3 years now. I think I've shared that before. So some people were asking me what is in the background. So these are cars. I love cars. I love new cars and old model cars. So they're the ones in my background. This is a new background. It hasn't even made like a month, not yet. So I love cars, so I made my background to be cars. So if you're out there and you have cars, any model of a car, let me know. If you want to give it to me, I can put it in the background. I love cars. And then I have a Chevrolet 1957. It's an old model. This one here on this table. And then someone asked what this is. So this is called a drum. In where I come from, in Uganda in particular, we have drums, like people deal with drums, and then drums are used to communicate and also on functions, like you drum it and it has sound. I'm not good in drumming, so forgive my, I know people who know how to drum are like, what are you doing? I'm not good in drumming, but so this is called a drum. So back in age, it used to be used for communication. So I think I'll share briefly. Like I used to stay in the village. I used to be in the village. So people used to use these drums. So if somebody dies, like in an area, so they would drum, and then the sound will move. So where the sound stop, if there is another household, if there is another family staying there, they'll also drum, and then sound keep moving. So nowadays, since we have the modern world where phones are sending WhatsApp messages, text messages, it's easy to communicate. But before, people used to use drums for communicating. So I found it and bought it. I like it. It's pretty cool. So it has here. It's so funny that on this drum, these kinds of drums in Uganda are called engalabi, because they put it here in between. They're normally big. This is a small one. They're normally big. Then they put it here. Then they start drumming it, and then it will be accompanied with some other kind of drum. So if you go on YouTube and look for drums, you'll see different kinds of drums in Uganda and how people use it. So it's so funny that here it has San Diego Zoo. This is the word that is here, San Diego Zoo. Because when I first saw it, I was like, how come it's in San Diego Zoo? But I think they import them from Africa. So they will drum and then they will sing to the rhythm. So people will drum and then others will sing. It's cool. I like it. And so I have a small studio. I like keeping it simple. I like keeping it natural, and it's off script. I don't I don't want it to be like, hey, from this we go to this. I like being off script. Like I share what my opinions are, and I'm so glad that people are watching the episodes. I've been doing like Luganda episodes for my people back home, and then a couple of my friends were like, you should start doing some in English, because I have some friends of mine that wanted me to share this, whatever I'm sharing in English so they can understand. It's too bad that even on Google, there's no, you can't watch an episode that is in Luganda to translate in English. Like the captions, they have no captions that come from Luganda to English. So I'm making life easy for you now. You can watch these episodes in English. So well, let me continue. I think this will be the last episode where I'm doing the shocking things that I've seen in the United States, things that have shocked me, and all things I've loved. I'll also share with you some of the things that I've loved. So yeah, one, remember in the other episode I shared with you some of the things that I have seen. One, with the families, how kids are being raised, and then the confidence that kids have. I don't know if I talked about how kids are being raised. I love the fact that families love their kids, like mothers, fathers love their kids. You will find kids being the way kids are being treated. It's really nice. So in where I come from in Africa, also in Africa in general, it's more of, it's a command, but then here kids are treated like kids. Like they make mistakes and then parents don't back at them, they don't beat them up. Whoa, in my culture we don't, it's not soft. I think that's the right word I can use. Like your parent won't be soft to you. Like they treat you, if you do anything weird, they'll always back at you. And then the other thing, what shocked me here are the drinks. Dude, like people have, if you go to, maybe let me say, if you want to order soda, you go to a dispenser and then they have these big cups. I don't know, I wish I had one here. So they would, everything is big, like medium, large. Medium, people normally go for medium and large. I find it so weird in the way that very many people go for large things. Most things here are big. You find the water bottle is big, and then there are these other big cups that people, they call Stanley cups, and also big. So I find it challenging for me to understand it. I'm like, why do people always have, majority of people go for these big things? But it's a new thing, it's a culture, because in my country we normally have small things. It's medium or small. We don't normally have those big things. And also I remember when we were growing up, we used to have soda that was called Ofono, and Ofono soda used to be tall, but nowadays I don't see it. Like from time I left, like it was no longer there. So it's so shocking for me if I see people carrying big things. And then the other thing is how you meet nice people, and then I normally when I'm with, I remember when I was still used to sit in the college class, some of my friends used to ask me, with your accent, where are you from? And then I used to tell them I'm from Africa. So some people think Africa is one country. That's one thing I've realized here. It shocks me that, so back in Africa we read a lot about USA, UK, and also Canada. We read about, like, trust me, we read a lot about these countries, and then they don't read a lot about us. So we care more about these countries, but then I feel like they care less about us, more so like learning about us. Because I used to have people used to ask me where you're from, and then I'm from Africa. So they think Africa is one country. Just so you know, Africa it's a continent. Yeah, it's a continent. It's with very many countries, and also different cultures and different way of living. And it's so funny that some people sometimes find me and then they're like, yeah, you're from Africa, and then they'll tell you the name of a person like who is even in West Africa. I come from East Africa. So those are two different regions, and somebody will tell you, I have a friend who is on Facebook, he's called so and so, do you know him or her? And then you'll be like, I don't come from that area. Where is the person from? And they're like, he's from Nigeria. And then be like, no, I'm not from there. I come from somewhere else. So the two don't connect. Yeah, I can understand it. So take time and read about it. At least when I started going to school and people started reading about Africa, I love the fact that people here are so curious to know stuff. Because I remember when I was doing one of my in public speaking class, I presented about how communication is done, and then when people got to know me that I come from Uganda, within that week, the following week, people came and started asking me questions about Uganda because they went and started reading about Uganda, which we don't have in our culture. Like if somebody tells you, hey, I'm from this area, let me take for example, if somebody says, I come from, or I moved from here, I moved from maybe LA, it will end there. But then I love the fact that people here, they will go and explore my errands, tell you, hey, I read about Uganda, this is what I found. And then, yeah, people will ask you different questions. Two, the other thing that shocked me here, also, I don't know if it's not two, but one of the point. So the other thing that shocked me here is how people would ask you, you're from Africa? Yeah. Oh, how did you get here? And then it's the question that I've even up to now failed to answer because I don't know the right answer to give it to. Because one end I find it funny, the other end I find I'm like, what should be the best answer? It's so shocking for me if somebody asks, how did you get here? Because for me, the question of how, sometimes jokingly, I'm like, I came walking. I'm joking. So I normally find it challenging when somebody asks me that question because I honestly don't have a good answer for it. And then when amongst all places, why did you come here? I know my dad, it's because of my brother. My brother is here. And they're like, oh, okay, you have a brother here. So it's so funny. It's so, but people love want to know, and people love knowing. And then also the other thing I've found fun, it's how people care. Some, because I've seen a couple of accidents here and there, but I love the fact that I'll start with the law enforcement, more so with police. I love the fact that police doesn't take long to respond if something happens. So, and one time I was talking with one of my friends, and I was like, I don't know why you people complain that police or fire has taken long to respond or to arrive or come to the scene of maybe an accident or anything. They take less than like 10 to 8 minutes. They'll always respond so quick. And people would say, they took so long. And I'm like, bro, they came so fast because where I come from, you wait for ages. So I know I come from a third world country. I know this is a first world country, but I don't know. I don't know how fast they want them to be there, because I've seen it a couple of times where people say they took long, and in my head I'm like, I don't think that was long. So I find it challenging sometimes. And then the other thing is that when an accident happens, fire comes fast. And then, and I love the fact that the fire has made people who support and everything. And then the other thing also that challenged me was, so one time we were with a guy who had an issue with breathing, and then they called 911. So guess what? Instead of an ambulance, so the fire came fast, and then the ambulance came later after a few minutes. It's it For me, it's so unique and I love it. Up to now, I'm still trying to understand why fire fast when they said somebody is not breathing well, like the fire truck. Yeah, maybe I don't know. I still need to understand the concept behind that, but it's a good thing, and I love the fact that they don't take long. So, hmm, it's pretty nice. And then the other thing is about the police. I love the fact that when police stops you, maybe you are overspeeding or anything, they'll first of all ask you, "Do you know why I stopped you?" And then you'll be like, "No." So they'll tell you why they have stopped you. That I feel like, so in my country, when once police stops you, they will tell you why they have stopped you, or they'll ask you, "Didn't you see the sign?" Or like, it's more of accusing you or telling you. So it doesn't come in a friendly way. You get what I mean? I feel like here it's more of a friendly way. And then, so where I come from, it's so funny. Where I come from, there's a very big gap between police and the wananchi. So wananchi means the civilian. You know what I mean? And it's a Swahili word. It means a civilian. There's a very big gap between the police and the civilian. But here it's more of a civilian and the police. So people don't run away from police. But where I come from, there is no relationship between me and police or between you and police. Because once police is there, handcuffs, arresting you. So I love the fact that here people don't run away. Even if police comes, like everything stays normal. I love that. So I don't know if it's just a culture thing or it's something that is taught or something, but I like it. And also I love the fact that people care about each other. I've 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 seen here people staying, if there's a line, people will stay in the line and then they will serve who is next without anyone rushing or want to bypass the line. Uh, where I come from, somebody will try as much as he or she can to bypass a line so it can be worked on fast to go. But I love the fact that people here are very patient. So even if the line is too long, somebody will wait for his or her turn to be served. So, and then something when people are boarding the bus, even if you have many, people will stay in the line and then they will get in. And then there's that respect they give somebody who is in a wheelchair. Oh, and the other thing that, okay, there's that thing or respect they give somebody who is in a wheelchair to go in fast without like rushing. It's so unique. It's so good. But where I come from, survival for the fittest. So I wish I could show you some of the videos when people are fighting for taxis. So how we use the buses here, like also how we use taxis back in my country. Taxis, borders. I'll just say about the borders. So it's so nice. And then the other thing, I love the fact that people who are aged are called seniors. So somebody doesn't say the other old person or the other old man or the other old woman or the old, like they call them seniors. Oh yeah, because of one time when I was at DMV, so how the person described the other was like, is a senior, and the other one says yes. So I love the fact that they don't use those ambiguous words like it's old, is so at least there's that kind of, I don't know if it's respect. And so I'm still learning to know why they're using the senior word. So senior is used for somebody who is at least a bit older, and I love that. And the other thing I love, the fact the kind of support that are given to people who need support, like people who on the streets who need support, like I feel like there's good supporting services that are being given to them for them to feel like supported and they're also human. So I love that. So I wish I can copy it and take it in my country, but I know it will die a sudden death. Yeah. And then I love the fact that everyone here, majority of them, know how to drive. Yeah. At least people know how to drive, and then people respect the road. So some people know how to drive, and then some people act weird on the road. Trust me, if you can drive in my country, you can drive anywhere in the world. When I first drove here, I found it that people here are very patient. Very patient. Like, even if when you make a mistake on the road, nobody backs at you. So in my country, they'll back at you, and somebody will say, you hear sound saying, why you get a muluja? And say, wait. So there's some things that they will throw at you, or not like throwing physically, but there's some words that will be thrown at you if you make any weird mistake. I love the fact also that pedestrians have a right of way. I feel like it's the same thing in my country, but it's not being respected. Because here, people place buttons when they are going to cross on when they're using the crosswalks, and somebody, if the lights goes on, or if somebody's crossing, if a pedestrian is crossing, somebody will respect that pedestrians. In my country, it's a pedestrian against the car. So who goes fast? So I love the fact that at least people respect. I don't know if it's all, because I've never seen anyone disrespecting a pedestrian. At least I love the fact that people respect pedestrians, people respect people who are using the walkways. Yeah. And then the other thing is how people, when people are driving, when somebody is a cyclist, so if he's the person is in the bike lane, they will try as much as like people who are driving, they will try as much as they can to dodge this person who is either in the bike lane or on the bike, or somebody who is just walking. They'll pass on the other end without even rushing. But in my country, somebody will, if this is you, somebody will pass here. So it's a very big culture shock. There's a lot of learning and relearning. Trust me, if you come straight from my country to here, there are a lot of things that will surprise you. I know even you guys, if anyone here goes to my country, I normally tell people, if you go to my country and be there for a month, you may not survive. Yeah, you may not survive if the circumstances remain the same, or if you don't have anyone to accompany you, or if no, because it's not everyone speaks the language you're speaking. Some people won't be speaking the language. So one thing you should know, it's not easy coming from where I come from to here, because sometimes I grew up speaking my mother language, which is Uganda, and also English at school, not so much in the community. But when I got here, the only person I would speak with my local language would be my brother, and then I think some friends who used to call me on phone. So, but the rest you'd speak English. And sometimes I feel like English takes a lot of oxygen when you have just started like speaking it on a daily basis. I feel like it takes a lot of oxygen and needs a lot of energy. That's what I feel like. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I used to feel like it takes a lot of oxygen when you're speaking it. I don't know. But now as time goes on, you're like a child who's learning how to speak. There are some things we used to learn in school when I was growing, and they're not being used in English. I remember they used to beat us up in primary, and they used to tell us, "Hey, like cutleries." You know what I mean? Like I've never heard somebody saying, "Give me the cutlery." Yeah, cutlery is more some like where is it spoon, knives, forks. A bunch of them are called cutleries. You see, we learn English, so I find it challenging and so difficult for like some English words that we were taught back home, some being used here. Somebody would say because we learn in British English and this is American English, but still the meaning word is English. I don't know, I could be wrong. And then why would I go far without talking this about America? So for the little time I've been here in the States, the America you see in movies is not the real America you come in. I remember one time my brother's wife asked me that very question. For the time you've been here, what do you think? And I was like, the America we see in movies is not the same. The America he was seeing in movies, not the same America I'm in. So because on movies they show you skyscrapers, they show you like all these streets and everything, bouncing cars, but then you start looking for them and you can't find them. But I know they are there, but maybe they're not where I am. But America is so huge, and it's good that you don't start from the posh kind of life of seeing bouncing cars and skyscrapers. And also, like they always say, America is a land of opportunities, is a land of learning, is a land of learning, it's a learning of a lot of cultures, a lot of people with different backgrounds. And I know the fact that here people use, most so like police, they use systems. Systems do work, at least to an extent, at least for times I've witnessed, I feel like systems here do work and people respect the others when they're using the system. So it's quite different from where I come from, and I feel like it's not the same. And I don't know, maybe it's me who is wrong, maybe it's me who is not doing it. So it's different. It's a different culture, different background, different life. So you can also tell me what you think, at least what what is shocking you about us who are coming from Africa. What are you learning from us? What would you like me to share? Because every time I tell people about stories in Africa or where I come from, they get so shocked. So I'll start like sharing different stories on how we live in Africa, some of the things that we did when we were growing up that I've never seen kids here do. Like things of like driving gogoro. Gogoro is when you sit in something and then yeah. I think here it's called what? There's a different name you call it here. So abana bavuga gari. You know kuvuga gari is when you use it, a kid goes to the toilet and then You don't use toilet paper, but then outside the toilet there is a land or surface where you go and then you vuga gari. It's called kuvuga gari. And if you translate it, if you put it in English, riding a bicycle. Yeah. And then kids, yeah, it's like they live a different life. The thing that is up to now, I find it scaring. So one time when I was in class, um, one of my friends asked me if we use guns in my country, and I was like, yeah, but guns in my country are used by law enforcement only. So in my country, if they find you with a gun, you face the court martial if they find you with a gun, because our laws say where I come from, a gun is supposed to be used by law enforcement. And then here it's different. People here have guns. And so I tell the friend of mine, my classmate, I'm like, I've never seen a gun, and I don't think I can have a gun because I don't want to even be associated with it. And then he was like, yeah, we have gun. My dad has a gun. I was like, your dad is a law enforcement? Is he a police officer or is he in military? I was like, it's none of that. Okay. So I'm still trying to learn it. People here have guns. It's a good thing for protection, but I also find it challenging. Like, yeah, it's a culture shock. Yeah, it's a culture shock. And then I love the fact that you guys don't have load shedding. You know what load shedding is? When power goes off. Bro, for the time I've been here, I think I've seen power going off like twice, and doesn't take long. Bro, where I come from, power goes off with no man's business, no one you're going to blame. And then once it goes off, if it goes off like today at 7 in the morning, it may come back in the evening. Yet you pay for it. So it's totally different. I find it challenging. And so I don't find it challenging, but I find it amazing. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah. Yeah, and then I love the fact that people have medical insurance. There are people in my country who have medical insurance, but few of them. On a scale of 10, maybe 0.1 or 0.001 people have medical insurance. Yeah. And then I love the fact that people don't use cash. People, don't get me wrong, people use it, but then people don't use cash like in my country. Cash is one of the biggest things that people use. So people here don't use cash that much. People use Apple Pay, tapping, like it makes life easy, like no stress, like yeah. That's a great thing. I feel like it's something some other people in some other countries need to copy. I feel like it limits like robbery and other things and makes life easy. You don't move with cash. Yeah. And last but not least, what I find challenging, getting an apartment here, renting an apartment takes ages. There are a lot of processes. You have to have credit, you have to have these scores, then you have to have this income. Like, bro, like getting an apartment, you go through a lot of processes. Excuse me. you go through an agency, the agent verify. I feel like that's a lot of processes. Where I come from, once you have the money, you have the apartment. Yeah, here I feel like it's a long process and takes time. Where I come from, once you have the money, you get the apartment even that very day if the apartment is ready. Once you pay for it, take it. So here it's totally the opposite. I find it challenging because I've seen a couple of my friends applying for housing, and then you have to have these kinds of credit scores, you have to have this, you have the other, and then they have to merge everything, and then they'll tell you, oh, you don't qualify, or you do qualify. It's a good thing because they need to check your background before they hand over the apartment to you. And then the other thing, I know many of you may argue about this. Here, there's less lying than where I come from. Bro, people where I come from can lie from morning to evening. Yeah. People here, less lying. I love the fact that it gives trust. Somebody will trust you upon what you have said. And I like it because it reduces lying and also builds trust. Yeah. Like I said in my previous video, I love the fact the confidence that kids here have, that they are very confident, they are articulate, and then they will be open to you and tell you, hey, this is it. For us, where you come from, like they will nurture you. You'll be humble. Yeah, you'll be humble. However crazy you are, you will be humble. Your mom, your dad, your big brother and sisters, you have to be humble. And then I love the fact that in families, because from what I've seen, so where I come from, the dad is the head of the family, then follows the mom, then follows the firstborn, second, like how it goes. So the respect will be given depending on your age. But here, if there's a household, everyone has respect. I like that. Like respect is shared amongst everyone within the family. But where I come from, people will respect you because of your age, which is not here. Then the other thing, I think, because I don't like doing long videos, like too long, this one is about to end, but I think I'm still learning. Why is it that once not all, or at least some people I've seen, why is it that when they call you, like if somebody says, hey Sam, the other one responds, what? I find it rude. I find that response rude. I don't know what you guys think about it, but I find that response not good. Because I find what being a rude response. Yeah, I find it difficult. So if you're just joining us, if you're watching this episode for the first time, you're watching Beyond the Noise with Sam, please give me your feedback, what you think about the discussions I share. So in my next episode, I'll come here and share with you how we are raised in Uganda, because Africa, it's almost the same, besides the Middle East. Yeah, Africa way of raising a child is almost the same. So I'll come here and then share with you how kids are raised in Africa, how kids are raised in Uganda, so that will be my second episode, third episode in English. So this episode is going with the other one. It closes the other one. The first one I did in English. I was just closing up, because the last time I don't want to do long videos. I want to do a few minutes, and I want to summarize it. So the next episode I will talk about how kids are raised in Africa, some of the things that we do in Africa that I've not seen here, what kids are doing, some of the challenges we go through when you're raising, when we are growing up as kids, or some of the things that we do that brings life to us. And then I would love to hear what you guys have to say, how kids are raised here, whether it's the same thing that how kids are raised in Africa. So I'll try to compare the two of them, and then it'll be fun. So these episodes, no pressure. Feel free to tell me what you think about the episodes. Share your opinion in the comment section. Share love, not hate. So tell me what you think. Tell me what's on your mind. Tell me what you've heard about Africa. Do you think Africa is one continent? Do you think Africa is one country, or it's a continent? I've said it already. So tell me what you think. Or tell me also where you're watching this episode from, or where you're watching this from, at least for me to know where you're coming from. So hey, share love, not hate. Thank you so much for watching it. Subscribe, comment, share, hit this bell notification. Yeah, that was the right word I was looking for. English is not my first language, but I'm speaking it. Yeah, thank you so much, whoever is watching. Tell a friend to tell a friend. I'll try as much as I can to share and also do different episodes, so that I can keep you people engaged. Thank you so much for watching. Mwebale nyo. Yeah. So what I'm going to be doing every day, closing of an episode, I'm going to teach you one Luganda word. So mwebale nyo means thank you so much. So try to learn it. Mwebale nyo. Mwebale nyo. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Mwebale nyo. Anyway, have a good day, have a good evening, have a good night, whatever time, whenever you're watching from. Have a good day, have a good evening. Enjoy your night. Bela bulungi, bela nonako bulungi, bela nechire chirungi, sula bulungi. Bye.